Cloud check-in versus on-premises visitor registers, why the old way is costing you more. Cloud check-in versus on-premises visitor registers, why the old way is costing you more. That's what we're tackling today. If you've been wondering about cloud visitor management, stick around. Let's talk about next up, what cloud visitor management actually means. Many IT managers picture cloud visitor management as a SaaS tool with a monthly fee and not much else. The reality delivers considerably more operational value than that framing suggests. A cloud visitor management system replaces paper with a structured digital flow. Visitors self-check-in via a tablet or web portal, their information is stored in a compliant cloud environment, and the host receives an instant notification. The system maintains a searchable, exportable audit log of every entry and exit. Compare that to a paper book, which cannot be searched, is visible to every subsequent visitor who walks in, and can be lost or destroyed with no recovery option. If your organization is evaluating whether you need one at all, our guide on what is visitor management software and does your office actually need it? Is a useful starting point. Now, let's talk about the real cost of paper and on-premises visitor registers. The honest answer is that paper is not free, and on-premises software rarely beats cloud over a 3-year window when you count everything. For a 50-person office, consider what the paper approach actually costs annually. The costs that hurt most are the ones that never appear on a line item. A paper register exposes every previous visitor's name and company to the next person who walks in. That is a concern under both the EU GDPR and the UAE Personal Data Protection Law. Regulators in both jurisdictions have issued fines for exactly this kind of passive data exposure, and we only use a paper book is not a defense that holds up. Next up, cloud check-in versus on-premises, side-by-side comparison. The table below covers the dimensions that matter for IT managers and compliance officers evaluating a switch from paper or on-premises systems to cloud visitor management. Cloud visitor management systems maintain a timestamped, tamper-evident record of every visit. Paper records cannot match this. On-premises systems can produce a log, but only if the local server is properly maintained, backed up, and accessible to auditors on demand. Cloud systems make audit exports a one-click operation, which matters when a UAE Labor or Data Protection Authority requests records on short notice. Our guide on Power Platform Security covers related identity governance patterns that apply equally to visitor data within Microsoft environments, particularly for teams managing Power Platform governance across multiple tools. Cloud Check-in integrates natively with Azure Active Directory. Host lookup, authentication, and access control all flow through your existing Microsoft identity layer. This means visitor data inherits your organization's Azure security controls, your conditional access policies apply, and there is no separate user directory to maintain. If your team already uses Azure Consulting Services to manage cloud identity, adding a cloud visitor system that speaks the same identity language is a natural extension of that posture, not a new infrastructure project. Now, how cloud visitor management connects to your Azure infrastructure. Organizations that have started or completed Azure Cloud Migration Services projects will find that adding a cloud-native visitor system slots cleanly into their existing governance model. Cloud Check-in deploys from the Azure Marketplace, which means procurement, billing, and compliance documentation go through your existing Azure account. There is no separate vendor security review to run, and Azure Marketplace purchases are eligible for Azure consumption commitments. Organizations following the 5 phases of Azure migration often add cloud visitor management during the governance phase as part of broader compliance consolidation. If your organization is working with an Azure migration partner on a broader transformation, tools that deploy from Marketplace are far easier to onboard than standalone SaaS vendors with separate billing and security review requirements. Azure provides configurable data retention policies, geo-redundant storage, and compliance certifications covering ISO 27001, SOC 2, and regional data residency requirements including the UAE. When visitor data lives in Azure, your existing compliance posture extends to cover it. You do not need a separate data governance process for a paper register or a local server. Next up, now, why IT managers misjudge the cost of cloud visitor management. The most common objection to cloud visitor management is that $3/user/month sounds expensive compared to $0 for paper. This reasoning fails on two separate counts. The $0 cost of paper is a starting cost, not a total cost. When you add reception time, compliance risk, and the cost of one regulatory finding, the cloud option is almost always cheaper over a 2-year window. This mirrors what surfaces consistently in Azure cost optimization consulting engagements. Organizations that resist cloud adoption often have an incomplete picture of what on-premises actually costs when you include depreciation, maintenance, and staff overhead. Gartner research consistently shows that organizations underestimate on-premises infrastructure costs by 30 to 50% when they exclude facilities, power, cooling, and staff time. The same accounting error applies to systems considered free, including paper visitor registers. Next up, what makes Cloud Check-in worth evaluating? Cloud Check-in is built specifically for organizations in the Microsoft ecosystem that need verifiable, compliance-ready visitor records without additional IT overhead. Most visitor management SaaS tools target US or European markets and retrofit for regional compliance. Cloud Check-in is designed with UAE workplace regulations as a primary requirement, meaning the audit trail format, data retention defaults, and compliance reporting work correctly from day one. The Azure AD integration is native, not a third-party connector. Host lookup flows through your existing directory, notifications reach the correct person every time, and there is no separate user database to keep synchronized. If your team works with a Power Platform development company for internal tooling, or has evaluated Power Apps development services for business applications, Cloud Check-in reflects the same design philosophy, built for the Microsoft stack rather than adapted to it after the fact. Teams that work with Azure Consulting Services partners on cloud identity regularly note that native integrations like this reduce implementation time and long-term maintenance cost compared to connector-based approaches. Let's talk about conclusion. Cloud visitor management is not a feature request from an overcautious compliance officer. For any office that handles external visitors and needs to demonstrate who is on premises and when, it is the only approach that satisfies modern compliance requirements, produces a defensible audit trail, and costs less than the on-premises alternative when you account for the full picture. For a 50-person office, Cloud Check-in at $3 per user per month delivers a compliance-ready, Azure AD integrated solution for $150 per month. That is less than most offices spend on paper supplies for manual systems, and it comes with a tamper-evident audit log, Azure managed data retention, and built-in disaster recovery that no paper register can match. Q Services is a Microsoft certified solutions partner that has completed 500+ Azure and Microsoft platform projects since 2014. Whether you need an Azure architecture review, support with Azure app modernization, Azure DevOps consulting services for deployment governance, or guidance connecting cloud tools into your existing Microsoft environment, the Q Services team builds it right the first time. If you are also evaluating a broader cloud move and need an Azure migration partner with a proven track record in the Microsoft ecosystem, we are happy to walk through your options.